Happy Tuesday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. Yes, I am tardy. But it's okay. I've got good vibes for you. Good vibes, positive vibes. Today looks like I am going to be streaming from my personal page, and I thank you for joining me on Instagram Live. Shout out to Jerry. Thank you for joining. Good rising, grand rising. Buenos dias. Bonjour. If you are new to Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays, we normally start at 8:10 Pacific time, but you know, I had a late and early night with my son. And if any of you have health challenges like allergies and just different things, like, yo, I'm there with you. My little guy has allergies to no end. And so he had a reaction that had us up at 2 and 4 in the morning. So it was involved. And I had to monitor him close enough, maybe moments away from sticking him with his EpiPen, but I managed to get it under control, which is nice. So welcome to his world, welcome to my world. But we are here this morning. That gentleman behind me, if you can see him on Instagram Live, I know he's in my camera. This is my business partner, Hugh Williams. So he's very much part of everything that I'm involved in. He's a great support. And we're shifting our thinking, and we do this for 13 minutes every Tuesday. And guess what? We are now on episode number 32. I feel amazing to say that. Episode 32, which means I have been doing this for 32 straight weeks, and it's 200 ways to change or improve your life, which means at the end of this, I would have done 200 episodes. And maybe I might do like a big party or meetup or something for everyone who's been participating. I will invite you now to make sure you connect, build, and share with me on all social media at lasuperagent. And I know I said I was going to do the book giveaway, so I will do that as of the end of today's show. I do still have some copies of this book, so we'll start it over again. So if you haven't had a chance to win a copy, get a copy, guess what? Now's your chance. And if you haven't subscribed to the mailing list, do so that you can win an opportunity for this book. So although even when you get the book, you can definitely do it in one reading, but we're doing it by section and segment. And today, let's see what I will call today's episode. All right, let me see. What will I call it? I will call it, let's see. Remember to commit. Remember to commit. Episode 32. We're in here. Woo! Episode 32. All right. Remember to commit. Hey, Blue Mojo, thanks for joining. Thanks, you guys, for joining on the Instagram Live. Be sure if you're new, jump in the comment box and say hi, say hello, so I can give some love, and you get some love. Get loved on. by yours truly, LA Super Agent. So if you are reading along, I am in the section that says if you want to keep all your commitments, create an infallible reminder system. One of the common frustrations we experience is someone making a promise and not keeping it. Ooh, this is going to rub. Hey, Charles, what's up? Charles is in the house. Thanks. So this is going to be an interesting one, right? Because we just had this. It's so funny. Word is bond. And I just connected with someone yesterday. Word is bond. And it's being able to commit to your word. So that's, yeah. Let's go on. It causes stress, slows momentum, and brings an uncertainty to situations that just shouldn't be there. Yo, that's heavy. From big commitments to small, it seems the size of commitment doesn't matter much. And in some cases, not delivering on the small things is bigger than the occasional broken promise of a big thing. So here's what's funny. Oh my gosh, I will always use myself in these examples. I'll always use myself in these examples because that's the only way I know how to relate is through self. So it's so funny to see that we're talking about commitment and creating a reminder system, and the small broken promises contribute to the larger picture, right? And it could really tear down relationships. And I could recall once upon a time when I was in a relationship that it was always the small things that really got me. Is that with you? Do you see that it's been like that? And I don't know why, it just always felt like it was the small things that really got me. And my partner would try to make up with big things. And it just kind of didn't weigh itself out for me because I was still holding on to the small things, right? Like the author says, the small broken promises, especially when you say you said, but you said, and especially everyone has a different temperament and DNA type in terms of our personality. And some of us can be okay with it. We'll let some things ride. And other of us will say, but you said, and I'm the one you said. I think my partner is learning that about me too. I'm a stickler on the you said. But it's one of those things, you guys. It's commitment 101. Isn't that awesome? It's commitment 101 to eliminate forgetfulness as an excuse by setting up a way to remind ourselves. That's easy. And I think what I see some people do, sometimes they do a rubber band or you put something over your hand or you make some little note. That way you can remember that there's something that you promised yourself or someone else or commitment. And my calendar is probably the best way for me to do that. Or right now I'm noticing I'm sending myself text messages and you can schedule text messages. I gave my secret away. Uh-oh. You can schedule text messages, especially because my mind moves very quickly and I may think of a message or something to send someone. I will schedule that message to go out at a certain time. That way it'll trigger response in me at a certain time. So it's a little trick. I've given my secret away. You now know Lisa schedules text messages. So commitment 101, that's easy, but the big culprit of broken commitments has little to do with any systems, formulas, or forgetfulness. It's about caring enough for others to keep your word every time. See, now that's a big significant thing, caring for others. Thanks you guys for joining me on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live. Appreciate you, and I trust you're having a phenomenal morning. We are doing Shift Your Thinking Tuesdays for 13 minutes of your time to transform your inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience. So thanks for joining. And it's caring. Do you care enough? And I think that's probably for me in my personal journey of promises, broken promises. I think it was, but you said you would X, XYZ and you didn't do it. And then I interpret that as you didn't care enough to do it. Ooh, yeah, that could sting a bit. And it did. It definitely did. So I was carrying that, right? Case in point, the author says, I once told a woman that she didn't keep her commitments because she was invested more, listen to this, in her convenience than she was in people. Ooh. Being invested more because of convenience. Oh my gosh. And I've said this before. We are in relationships with everything, our money, our family, our children, our partners, spouse, friendships. Are we more invested in that relationship out of convenience? And that's why we may falter on the promises or the execution of the promises. Yeah. The author continues. He says, she said, well, I care, but I simply forget. I replied, then you don't care enough to have a system so you don't forget. Do you care enough to create a system of reminders? And like I said, I mean, I care, you guys. I'm scheduling messages so I don't forget. That's my system. That's what works for me. So it's very interesting as we talk about commitments, remember to commit, but do you care enough to remember to commit? We are on episode number 32, by the way. He continues, he says, it's not excusable. He says, with today's frenetic life pace, right? Life is happening all around us, through us, for us, above us, within us, without us. It's excusable to forget a thing or two. It's not excusable, the author says, if it happens repeatedly and you ignore the opportunity to develop a reliable reminder system. Some people like to write, others go digital. So I do a little bit of both. I do write my notes. I've got my stickies, my things to do, right? And schedule text messages and calendar reminders or task reminders coming from the phone, because you have your phone all the time, so that works. So are we remembering to commit, and do you care enough to implement a system to remember to commit? Yes. Charles says, geez, phone call. Exactly. So he says, some people like to write, others go digital. We shared that. Regardless of the method, your integrity. Ooh, this is a heavy word. Now, if you're new to the episode, we talked about integrity and even the use of integrity on the last episode. So view the archive on that. We talked about integrity. So here we go again. He says, regardless of method, your integrity and your reputation, and this is huge for those of us in business, entrepreneurs, and really relationships overall, as a human being, having the spiritual being having a human experience, right? Your reputation. And I know with men, this is huge, 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 which is why I love using the word respect with you before I say I love you. I respect you first before I love you, because men interpret that very differently than women. You are designed very differently than women are designed. So yes, I respect you first, right? That's little tactics there. I've got to respect you first in order to love you. And for me, the small promises that you make to me show me that you care about me. And if you care about me, then I can interpret that as you love me. Well, now we're getting somewhere. Charles is going in. He says, how does one forget a commitment? That's not exactly. See, and again, you've got to care. This is what we're talking about. You have got to care, right? Love is the highest form of understanding. Thank you for engaging. And so not only just keeping your commitments reflect well on those around you, it is one of the most valuable assets you can build into yourself, period. And we end there. We end there today. So I leave this with you for this week. What system will you be implementing to remember to commit? Because we just went through a whole experience of how we're communicating love, respect, care, because one of the greatest things that we all want here is to be appreciated and acknowledged. That comes in the form of love, respect, care. And what system are we putting in place? I volunteered and I shared with you what mine was. I scheduled text messages to remind me because I am inundated with my workflow and different things I've got going. And it's almost impossible to try to keep this brain operating on schedule without having a system. So for me, calendar reminders, task reminders, text messages, my to-do notes, so that I can share and express to someone that I've made a commitment to, that I care. So I ask you, what system are you putting in place to show that you care about the commitment and it's not about the convenience? Be sure to connect, build, and share with me on all social media: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at lasuperagent. And guess what? I'm now available on radio, podcasts, everywhere. Be sure to definitely connect with me. And I will drop today's winner of this book. And I'm so excited that you all tuned in. So I'll see you next week for episode number 33. This is fantastic, you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you.